Hello and welcome to this video tutorial in which I'm going to give you a brief introduction to creating your own custom dashboards within SquaredUp. So the first place we need to look is for this little plus button here, and I'm just going to click that and it's going to open out a new dashboard with a blank canvas in Dashboard Designer mode. And you'll see the various SquaredUp plugins that are available to us are displayed there in a new section. Before I move on to those, I actually just want to first highlight for you scoping the dashboard at a page level. So deciding what objects that you want to show, setting that scope and setting it for the entire page. So that's done just up here in this top right hand corner with set page scope. Now you can either choose to list individual items here. If I just do a quick search for my SCOM environment, for example, I could search server 1, server 2 and build up a list of objects that way. I've also got advanced settings here. So if I want to scope the dashboard to a class, for example, let's say databases, or just database there. There we go. I could scope the entire dashboard just to the class of database. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to choose group. And I'm going to scope it to a group of servers in my demo environment, which is all Windows computers. Just doing that for the sake of simplicity here. In your environment, you'll probably be using much narrower scoping, of course. So we call this all Windows dashboard tutorial. Okay, and we're ready to go. So let's close that off there and start with an alerts section. So we choose the alerts plugin. And you can see here under scope, we're using the page level scope that I've already set. So let's move on next and choose some filters. I'm not worried about alerts, just informational alerts. So let's turn that off. I only want to see, for example, alerts where the source is a monitor, and I'll have any status. I can choose a time frame. Let's select all alerts here and show a maximum number of items to display on the dashboard. For example, just the most 5 recent. Click next, and you'll see I have the ability to choose and order my columns. So if I want to kind of reorder to put owner as the second column, that's easily done. If I'm not worried about the object path, for example, I can just delete that. And you'll see that I can also add in additional columns as well, including custom fields. So maybe we want to show the priority there as well. So there we go, that's done, and that's our alerts section scoped for this dashboard. You'll see that I'm showing those 5 by default, but I can open that out, show all 14, or just show the 5 most recent. So let's move on now, and we'll look at a status section. I'll give this a quick title. We'll call this status. Use that page level scope. Select next. You'll see I've got some labeling options. They're not really very relevant here, so I'm going to move past those. And then some sorting options. I've got the ability, for example, to group them or sort them. And in this case, I want to sort them by the health state and descending. So I want the critical items to be most apparent to me. I'm going to hit done. And I'm just going to use the formatting options here to tidy that up. And I can easily see on a hover over which server is which. If I want to, I can use that page level scope that I showed, but on a per section basis, I can also override that. So if I want to put databases on this dashboard for an example, let's go to advanced. Let's choose database. We'll scope that to that class. Select next. Here we can see some labeling options, display name path or path name, and again, sorting options. Grouping by path, for example, ascending, descending, and so on. And again, I can just tidy up the formatting there if I want everything looking nice and healthy on my databases. So let's move on now and look at some performance information and putting that into the dashboard. When it comes to performance, we've got 3 visualization types: graph, sparkline, and bar. Let's start with a graph. Scope to those all Windows computers, and I've now searched the performance metric that I'd like to find. A nice tip, if in that search bar you just press the down key, all performance metrics available to you will be displayed. For this example, I'm just going to search and show CPU. I'm going to choose to fit this to the data, individual metrics or top N. Select a time frame, 24 hours will be fine here. And you'll see lastly, I've got the ability to have multiple colors or single colors. If I have multiple colors, I can also have a key associated with that. So let's have multiple colors there, and this is CPU. Now we're already sort of starting to drop off down the bottom of the screen here. So you may want to sort of think about tidying up or reorganizing this dashboard slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a split section here, and now hover over, and I'm given the option to split the page up. I can also kind of resize that as I want, and I can drag and drop. So I can just pull that CPU performance metric into place. You'll also see here with these graph visualizations, I've got the options to expand that out. So if I want that CPU to be kind of nice and dramatic, I can make that big and the graph lines get thicker accordingly. Let's pull in some additional performance information here as well. Maybe we'll have some spark lines this time. Going to use that same scoping. We'll show memory usage. We'll fit that to data. Individual metrics, last 24 hours. And again, let's have those nice multiple colors there. And that's done, that's our memory usage. And last of all, for performance, I'd like to show maybe free disk space, performance. Going to use a bar chart for that. Metric, use the search, free disk space, easily and quickly found. We'll choose the top N here. I'm just interested in the top 3, in this case top 3 ascending. And we'll choose the nice multiple color display again. And there we go, there's our free disk space. So I think the last visualization style that I'd like to pull into this dashboard is going to be some SLA gauges. I think maybe I'll pop those down here in this section. So I select SLA, use the scope, and then I'm asked to pull up my service level objective. So this is your SLOs configured in SCOM already. We've got some configured in this demo environment. I'm going to choose server SLA. I've got some different visualization styles available to me, these kind of large tiles or this smaller inline size. I'm going to remove the status icon because I've got that information on the dashboard already. And the time frame is 24 hours. And there we go. There's my custom dashboard built and designed. And as I say, it's very easy to edit, rearrange this information on the dashboard so it displays the way that you want. You can open out show all alerts, you can reformat these, and so on. So there's my dashboard built and ready. I can of course drill down to any of the underlying information below, but we'll just leave that there for the moment and we'll hit publish. I'm given an option to publish this to the navigation bar. So let's do that, and we'll put this in its own section, or Windows Dashboard Tutorial. I can make it a custom drill down if I want. I can tailor the URL that it's going to be on, but most importantly, I have the option to make this an open access dashboard. An open access is a simple, easy way of you making your dashboards available to non-SCOM users or even SCOM users, but simple, unauthenticated access to read-only versions of your dashboards that won't consume a user license. And you see how simple that we've made this. Here, click Open Access. I've got a separate navigation bar experience I can put for my open access users if I want. So let's do that and hit Publish. And there's that dashboard built. Let me just click on this Open Access button you see now on that dashboard, and opening up in a new tab is an Open Access server-side rendered version of that dashboard. You'll see that this is read-only, so if I try to click and drill down into any of this information, I can't. It's totally non-interactive. It's all live SCOM data. It'll be refreshed every 60 seconds, and you can configure that to be a quicker or slower rate if you prefer, but that, as quickly and easily as that, is now ready to put out and publish to as many users as you like, as widely as you like. So I'm just going to close that off and go back to my kind of original dashboard, just to show you a couple of other things to help you with the dashboard building process. If I go back into Edit here, you may have noticed the ability to clone a dashboard. So let me click Clone here, and you'll see opening up in a new tab a copy of this dashboard. And it's here we see the kind of power of the page level scope. So I can now change this from all Windows computers to, let's say, all SQL computers. And to do that, I'm just going to go back to this page level scope, take out all Windows computers there, search now instead for the group of all SQL computers. There it is. Close that off, and you should see just kind of automatically reconfiguring below that dashboard built to that template that I've already set up, and it's now showing that for all SQL computers. And that dashboard too is ready to be published and ready to be made open access if that's what you want. So just a very little introduction there. Hopefully a few tips and tricks to help you get going with building custom dashboards. You should be able to see a very nice sort of straightforward experience that's available to you. Many thanks for listening.